everyone, I'm Brandy Williams and welcome to Cash Poker. We're here at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel in downtown Las Vegas, the place that made poker famous. We've got some world-class poker stars and they're ready for high-stakes action. Are you? Well, get ready because it all starts right now.
Hi everybody, I'm your host Chad Brown and welcome back to Binion's Gambling Hall and Casino right here in Las Vegas. It's another exciting episode of Cash Poker. With me once again is one of the greatest no-limit hold'em players in the world. He's also, a lot of people don't know, one of the greatest backgammon players in the world. He's the one and only Action Dan Harrington.
Thanks, Chad. It's great to be back again.
Well, it's great to have you, Dan, and you know, last week, Mike Matusow had a tough time of it. He just could not catch a break.
Poor Mike. He's at our feature table again, and he's facing even tougher competition this week, but I know he's going to be up to the task.
You're probably right. So let's meet tonight's players.
In seat number 7 from London, England, Roland DeWolf. In seat number 6 from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Cindy Violette. In seat number 5, Matt Gianetti. In seat number 4 from Helsinki, Finland, Thomas Walrose. In seat number 3, Mike the Mouth Matusow from Las Vegas, Nevada. In seat number 2, Brooklyn Dan Puglisi from Los Angeles. And in seat number 1, Nenad Medic from Niagara Falls, Ontario.
The table is set. Let's shuffle up and deal.
As usual, the blinds are 75, 150 with a $25 ante. The only thing that's not of the norm here, Dan, is that we are seven-handed, which can tend to create a little more action.
It's to Mike Matusow's advantage. He's an action player, and he likes to be in a lot of pots.
I never won a chip.
That could change.
I never won one hand. I tried to bluff
Now,
4
Thomas
times.
raises it up.
Make it 550.
I never had a hand.
2,000.
Now, Cindy comes back over the top. She has big slick, ace king.
This is what it's going to be. First time on TV.
She wants to end the pot right here.
Let's go with a bang. First time, hey?
Good flop for Cindy. Thomas checks. Cindy fires out. Thomas folds, and Cindy Violet takes down the first hand.
What? You played bad, man.
I know that a lot of people are talking about how this is actually quite large for them. It's $25,000 minimum buy-in. Is this, you know, a regular occurrence for you?
Actually, when I play in the side games and the cash games, I usually play limit poker. So I play like in the mixed games, a higher limit, but I don't usually play no limit. Once in a while I do, the no limit hold'em games. So.
Now, is there any player that you'd like to sit down beside you at the table?
The only reason I would want them to play with them is if they were a bad player, and I'd rather not say their names.
Not a problem. We've had a lot of people actually be like, I'd like an amateur who's really wealthy to sit beside me.
Right, exactly.
You had yours first.
Yeah, no, but that's my turn.
Mike the Mouth Matusow is under the gun, and he is straddling. He gets to act last, and what it does is creates more action. They're playing bigger poker.
And that's exactly what Mike wants.
Raise, make it 1,600.
It's folded around to Mike the Mouth. It's going to cost him $1,300 to call. He's out of position. This is a hand, really, that he should get away from.
I'm the luckier player, the better player, and I've got position.
I don't need cards. I just need to just check to you, you bet, I move in, and it's game over.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
He's trapping me now.
Yeah. I wonder if you've still got outs. What do you think?
This is probably a stupid bet.
In the dark.
And Mike the Mouth senses weakness from Roland, checking, and is figuring, let me see if I could just steal this pot. He bets in the dark, and Roland says, I call in the dark. And here comes the turn.
Wow.
It's a queen, Dan.
Call me in the dark.
This is perfect. What Mike wants, more action, more money.
With the queen coming on the turn, both players have to be concerned. Any 10 makes a broad way, and it's a jack on the river.
He feels that's the only way he can win, and he's right.
Forgot what I had.
Roland lays it down, and Mike the Mouth outplays Roland and takes down the pot.
Finally found a table like a rock. I like this table. No.
No objections, round.
Round of straddles are good.
Cash game, right?
That's right.
Well, Thomas is straddling, making it 300.
Even more than that, you have 3 people with money in the pot now instead of 2. That's a lot more action.
Okay, I'm gonna finally figured out what's going on here. I need to catch.
It's been folded around to netted. Netted has 10-4 offsuit. He has the button.
You had no outs.
And he's going to make it 1,500 to go.
Button raise for sure.
Now, Brooklyn Dan, he's got pocket 10s in the small blind.
No raise.
And good play by Brooklyn Dan. He's coming back over the top. He doesn't want to take any chances. He realizes these guys are playing any 2 cards, and he makes a substantial raise, making it 6,000 more.
He has the kind of hand that's good to decide before the flop when you're out of position.
This game's a lot better than that piece of game. I ain't never coming back. I go home first.
And everyone folds, and Brooklyn takes down the pot.
We'll join you in for more Cash Poker when we return.
That card didn't make your flush. You missed your straight, didn't you? Too bad you got that jack. More garbage, don't even bother. Now that's a nice pair.
Doyle.
Poker, it's a beautiful thing. Come play me at doylsroom.net.
Little kiss for good luck?
An important message for wannabe poker stars. This is Joe Hasham. This is Joe Hasham's brain. We asked Joe how to get really good at poker.
Poker's all up here. And a great way to get this sharp is to play at pokerstars.net.
Thank you, Joe. Nice brain. Log your brain onto pokerstars.net. It's free.
Want to play poker on television? Then go to VegasPoker247.net and play to win a free Las Vegas weekend and be entered into 3 Ultimate Poker Challenge televised tournaments. Legendary Binion's Casino is now the proud home of the #1 rated weekly poker show, Ultimate Poker Challenge. And you could be part of the action. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity is coming your way every week, courtesy of...
Here with Roland DeWolf from London. Now, do you have any specific strategies going into this game?
See who the weak players are on the table and play pots against them and avoid the better players.
And who don't you want at your table then?
All the young guys who play no limit, like Kenny Tran, Gabe Thaler, Thomas Walrus, these guys are really top players who play no limit every day.
All right, perfect. We'll be watching for that. Thank you so much for spending time with us, and good luck at the tables.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Action continues. I don't use the word loosely. It's a lot of action here, Dan. Matt straddling. Cindy Violet mucks. Roland has pocket 7s. Looks like they're making 1,500 the standard raise. Do you agree with that, Dan?
That's within acceptable range of raising.
Never in charge, I ain't moving tables. No, I'm stuck. I'm playing with this table for the rest of the duration. No ifs, ands, or buts.
I just hope that Serve flops a pair.
We're playing higher over here. It's 1,500 to go 4 ways every hand, boys.
Roland has top set 7s, but Nedick does have 8 outs.
No, I'll go home first. I'm staying with these guys. This is my boys here. I finally found
Roland
my boys.
fires right out, 4,000. Now that bet that Roland made, he bet 4,000 into a pot of only 3,700. He actually bet more than what the size of the pot was.
I think he's a little bit afraid of the flop in case his opponent has any of the cards surrounding the 5, 7, 6, one of his opponents does. And yes, he got the opponent to call.
That's a queen on the turn. Now Roland's checking.
I like that check.
I don't know. I don't want to play with them nits.
Now ace on the river.
I don't want to play with them nits. I don't want to be on TV. I just don't want to play with them nits. I want to play with you guys. A little bit of action around here. Them guys never put a chip in the pot. They do when they got me nutted.
And Roland fires out a bet on the river, betting only 4,000. Same bet he bet on the flop. And a tough decision for Netted here.
Show me one. Show me one.
You can't. You might have like deuce 3.
I'll show you one if you fold. How can you? Well, I just want to think like what's he actually going to try and call me down with? Do you have an ace?
Do you have a queen? No.
7, 8.
Do you have a 7? No.
7, 8.
Do you have a 6? No.
Do you have an underpair?
I think Medic has decided to throw his hand away. Too many tough cards have come that can beat the 4s.
Especially the ace on the river.
Exactly.
And he does lay it down. It's a good lay down by Netted, and Roland picks up the pot. They got Cindy Violet into the straddle mode. Now, Dan, in the last hand, you had said that Roland made a good check on the turn. Was that because he made an oversized pot bet and he got called?
The real reason for the check is that he thought once he got a call there and a blank came off on 4th Street, he was going to get a bet out of Medic, and he was really disappointed when he didn't because he was definitely going to raise that bet.
Right. Medic is in. He made the call. Roland pre-flopped raise with 8-6 offsuit. We got heads up again between these two players. Medic bets 1,500. Roland calls. Roland, of course, has bottom pair 6s. And the turn is a 7 of hearts. Roland still in the lead. Medic, of course, with position, and it's check, check. And the river's a 4 of hearts.
We have one more seat here, too.
See if Roland makes a value bet here. Roland bets 2,500. Now, Nettic has to decide, Dan. There's 9,200 in the pot. He's almost getting 4-1. Can ace high be good?
This is one of those tough decisions in poker. It's really borderline. You know your opponent is trying to suck that last bit of money out of you, but on the other hand, does he bluff often enough that the call is worth it? It's a real close.
And of course, he lays it down, and Roland takes the pot.
Where's the straddle, kid?
Straddle, Roland, put 300 up.
And Roland is going to oblige, puts up the straddle. Medic, 6-3 of spades, he calls.
Very loose play in this position.
Brooklyn Dan's got pocket 6s. Thomas lays down his 10-3 offsuit, and Cindy Violet has ace-queen of hearts. She's in the big blind.
All right. Raise it.
And she's going to try and take it down right here, Dan.
And she's making a big raise. I agree with this size raise. Try to win the pot right now because you're out of position.
So contemplates is ace-6.
She raises 29-25.
25 total.
He's got too much money.
He's not at position. Against me, he did nothing.
What do you mean by position?
He has position.
Well, she only gets called by Medic. And no help for either player on the flop. Let's see if Cindy continues. And Cindy's making a really big bet, 8,000.
A very big bet here. It's maybe too committal. I would have bet a little bit less than that, maybe half or 2/3 the size of the pot, because if your opponent has a hand, you don't want to have a lot of money out there with just ace high.
Lady Luck is shining tonight. Come on back to see who she smiles upon next.
You know, for all of you folks out there who would love to play with some of the top players in the world right here at Binion's Gambling Hall and Casino, February 1st is the next time that you could put up 25 grand and play some cash poker on national TV. In this hand, Medic is the straddler. Everyone folded to Cindy, who makes it 1,000 to go, and Roland in the big blind coming back over the top and re-raising, making it 4,000 more.
I'll stay at this table.
Well, this Roland is aggressive. He's definitely picking on Cindy here.
I've got a chance to get even here.
And Medic has pocket sevens in his straddle. He makes the call. Cindy gets rid of the ace deuce of hearts.
This 5,000 to go every hand.
And it's heads-up action between Roland and Medic. That's a good flop for Medic. It gives him an open-end straight this time with the overpair sevens.
I got the prop at least. At least a prop.
And Roland...
You got a prop?
What's that?
I got a prop.
He's
and I got a
betting
bet.
out 7,000. Now Roland has essentially nothing. He has 9 queen. Now Medic has a decision, Dan. I mean, he's really in good shape. He's got the overpair sevens. He knows Roland's been playing super aggressive, and he's got an open-end straight.
The minimum he should do is call here, but he should seriously consider raising.
Right. You don't want to let the overcards come and beat you. But he elects to just make the call.
And one of the things a raise does here for you is, even if you have the worst hand, your opponent probably will check on this next street and you get a free card on the end. You would have cost you the same amount of money. But if you hit your hand and he calls, you can make a lot more money.
Medic is deciding. He bets 15,000. The pot size was 23,000. He bet 15,000. Basically, almost like you said, Dan, betting close to 2/3 of the pot.
That's generally the right percentage you should be doing here. It's real tough on the opponent. They don't know what's going on with that size bet.
And Roland lays it down, and Medic picks up a nice size pot.
My 10 tray was good.
Brooklyn Dan's under the gun, and he's the only guy at the table who is not straddling, so this pot's going to play a lot smaller than all the other pots, Dan. Mike the Mouth, 5-6 of diamonds.
I was calling the straddle.
He makes it 300 to go.
He makes his own straddle.
He made his own straddle, that's right.
He just doesn't have the right to re-raise at the end of it, that's all.
Matt makes a call with 10 jack. Cindy with 4-7 on the button makes the call. And Cindy's making the call. A lot of players at home might wonder, like, what's Cindy doing making the call with 4-7? She sees that these players are playing crazy, and I guess she's making the call to potentially win a big pot, Dan.
I agree that's what her thought process is. I just don't think the hand is good enough to do it. Because the cards aren't close enough together, so you don't have enough possibilities.
We're rolling.
Two players.
That's a 4 on the turn.
This is a good card for Mike. He now has a pair of 6s with a straight draw.
And the river comes in ace. And Matt bets, and Mike gets rid of the hand.
I was surprised Mike didn't lead out here, as aggressive as he is, because the flop did look good, and he picked up something on 4th Street. He must have sensed something out there.
If I had heart, I would have bet the turn in the river, but I don't have no heart.
Yeah, not enough.
You've never faced adversity yet either, but you
The
will.
action continues here. Mike Mattisau.
Oh, yeah, you did. The last time right through, when you came through the last time you came through Bellagio, what did you lose, 400? Yeah, you faced adversity. How'd it do for you?
Eight deuce with the button. Just couldn't pull the trigger. And King Jack for Danny. He's going to call in the big blind, and we're going to have three-way action.
You know there's no amount. Let's go.
And the flop is 6-7 ace, and it's check, check. And Mike the Mouth checks. Medic, he has a pair of 7s.
Mike is probably regretting he didn't raise before the flop to take the pot away.
Now it's a good card for Mike. Gives Mike a pair of 9s on the turn, and it's checked around. Here comes the river, and it's a great card for Mike. Gives Mike 3 9s. Now Medic may think he has the best hand with the 7s. Danny might make a little value bet. He does. He bets 500, and Brooklyn Dan thinking that maybe he's making a play and that the King High might be good.
Well, Mike is obviously very happy here, and he's probably wondering what he's supposed to do.
And look at this, Mike just calls.
Just a flat call. Probably was a little bit afraid that he could be really far behind or he's really far ahead.
And Mike is looking around like, where's the rest of the money, Mike? Mike Matusow takes down the pot.
He missed 2 spots where he could have bet there, one before the flop and one on 4th Street.
It's not just the weather, it's the poker that's getting hot in Vegas. Stay with us, we have more to come.
Closed captioning provided by.
Now, Dan, by this time of the night, there are a number of people that are stuck a lot of money in, and with the straddles going on, they're straddling because they're trying to get even.
I agree. Like Matt here made a loose call of the 300, and the reason I say it's loose at this point is it was a straddle, it's extra money that you have to put in, so he's not getting his good pot odds by going in with the Jack-8 of spades.
Right.
Okay.
And it's checked around, no pre-flop raise.
I guess these guys are getting tired of raising.
And look at this, a beautiful flop for Brooklyn Dan in the small blind. He has top pair aces with the flush draw, but of course, Mike Matusow has him out kicked right now. He has aces with the 9 kicker. Brooklyn Dan bets 1,300.
And Mike can't be entirely happy because Dan has been playing reasonably solid. So Mike's hand is decent, but not great.
Mike makes the call.
Mike's quite right. He has position. Just let's keep the pot small.
We're going to have heads up between Danny and Mike. Here comes the turn. And look at this. Wow. 3 for Danny gives him aces and 3s with the flush draw. He can only lose now to a 9.
A dream situation for the ace-3.
Mike the Mouth makes the call, and basically what Mike's hoping for is to hit a 9 or a pair of the board and chop it. And look at that, a queen on the river, and it's going to be a chop pot unless someone can bluff someone out, and Danny's going to check. Do you think that Mike might have missed an opportunity here, Dan?
I don't think so. His hand is good enough that he could beat some other reasonable hands, and he most likely splits, so he's willing to take the split here.
I knew I had the best hand on the flop.
It's going to be chopped up between Mike and Danny.
I don't like it on the turn that much.
Now, when you play, do you change your styles compared to like this sort of a cash game opposed to tournament? Like, how do you differ in play there?
Well, cash games, I personally usually play a lot tighter.
Okay.
And then hopefully I can get to understand the table and play the way the table's going.
Now, do you have any favorites that you'd like to sit down at your table?
None of the guys I'm with.
I've reached the point. I've reached my breaking point. Once you've reached your breaking point,
I know.
It's all the pain's just gone.
Yeah, your money's in the pot already.
Dan, you want to tell the folks what Mike's talking about when he says he's reaching his breaking point?
He's ready to steam. He's ready to go on total tilt to try to win money. And he's true to his word. He's making a very aggressive raise here with 8-6 of diamonds, but he is on the button. But there's a straddle. There are 3 people to speak behind him.
And Thomas folds, and Matt folds, and Cindy, who straddled. She's going to lay it down, and Mike the Mouth, he's going to pick up the pot.
Got to steal about 30 of those. Yeah, I could do it.
That's how we always.
Okay.
Now, if any of you folks want to play cash poker with the pros and be on national TV, February 1st, you can put up $25K and take your chances with some of these players.
Wow. You know, Sir's got a chip in there. I don't
Now,
try.
Roland was the one who straddled, and Nedick,
Sir's got any money?
he min-raised to 600.
I don't understand this raise, Chad. I've seen it a number of times. This king deuce is the perfect hand. You either throw away, or if you want to make a play, you make a big raise and hope everyone else throws their hand away.
Right. Well, as a result, he's getting a lot of action. Actually, Matt has ace jack in the small blind and just makes the call. I guess a little concerned about the min raise. And look at this. What a beauty for Matt. Flopping aces and jacks. And he slow played it, and everyone checked around. And now this is a kind of a dangerous card. If I was Matt, I'd be firing out right now. And he does bet. He bets $2,000.
That's a reasonable size bet in this pot.
Looks like everyone's going to lay it down, and Matt's going to pick up the pot.
I mean, I don't really know what's going on, but all I hear is rolling.
We're shuffling the deck, but don't shuffle your feet and get out of here, because we'll be right back.
Medic is under the gun. Brooklyn Dan, the action's on him. He's going to fold. Queen, 9 of spades for Mike.
Oh. Raise.
Thomas raises it up. He has 10-7 offsuit.
He feels that Mike's in too many hands, and he's going to take advantage of it by raising.
Rolling mucks.
Don't they know once I put a chip in, I never fold?
And Mike's giving the classic warning. Once I'm in a pot, I'm in for good.
Now this gives Mike a gut shot straight. Nothing for Thomas except position.
22.
And Mike coming back over the top with a check raise, Dan.
I guess Mike feels that he can win two ways. One, bluff his opponent out, or two, hit with the inside straight. It turns out he has the best hand, though.
Right. There's nothing he can do. He's just going to posture a little bit and make it look like he's making a tough laydown. And he does get rid of the hand, and good play by Mike the Mouth. And Mike is showing what he thinks is a bluff.
You told me he was weak. That's why I did that. If you wouldn't have told me he was weak, I wouldn't have played him like that. See, Roland I already know is weak, so that's why I played him with the 4-5.
Mike can't help himself.
I didn't know if he
has to give poker lessons.
So I got to read off of him.
Forget it.
Brooklyn Dan is under the gun, so there'll be no straddle this hand. He lays it down. Mike lays it down. Thomas lays it down. It's on
Straddler, isn't it, huh? Go back to that guy.
Matt with the ace jack. He's going to raise it up.
Protecting your props. Prop call. I'm hot.
Don't worry about it, Bob.
Oh yes, fourth 2,000.
Wow, the double whammy jammy, huh?
Matt fires out a bet.
That's a good flop.
I even got a draw.
There's no way you can have a 7 if you want to call this.
Yeah, I know that. I got a draw.
8-9.
9-10.
Nicely played by Matt.
The backdoor
He
flush.
didn't need to
right
lose
there.
any and get involved anymore. He already got paid $2.
And Mike Manisau continues to give poker lessons.
Mike the Mouth, he's the straddler. As he said earlier, Dan, once his money's in, it's hard to get him out.
That's probably why he likes to straddle.
This one? Yeah. I wasn't watching because I was the closest.
Matt's going to limp with at least a king of hearts. Medic folds.
Lockdown one.
Brooklyn Dan, queen, 6 of spades.
All right.
He should have called here, Dan.
I agree. You're getting very good pot odds. They could hit a very big hand here.
And look at this flop. This would have given Brooklyn Dan an open end straight. Mike the Mouth Matisau fires out with queen jack. Putting the pressure and the decision on Matt.
Well, he feels Matt couldn't have a hand like that, limping in the position he limped in.
Now, of course, the queen hits Mike on the turn, and Mike now has top pair queens. And that's an ugly card for Mike.
I didn't realize I was going to do that.
Mike is agonizing about seeing that card, and he's going to check. And it's check, check, and the queens are good. And Mike DeMelt is going to pick up a $5,000 pot.
Did you bet the flop when he called?
Yeah, I didn't like his call on the flop.
Wow, Mike, you run so bad.
Chinese. Oh,
Chinese.
That's okay. No, he was joking.
Again, really?
He's joking.
And just a side note, Dan, Brooklyn Dan would have won that hand with queens and sixes.
Ha 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 ha.
Thomas Walrus from Finland. Now, what do you prefer? Do you prefer live games or do you prefer online?
Probably more live games.
Really?
I mean, like, it's easier to make money online, but I still like, playing live more.
Cash or tournament?
Cash.
Cash?
I play both, but mainly cash, though.
Now, if we're looking for you, we want to see your next event. You've already been on, television 5 times this year. Next year, where can we catch you?
I'm going to be, after Christmas, going to Bahamas for a tournament there, and after that, probably play Borgata as well, so...
Like, I better keep my checks even.
Thomas is going to be under the gun, and he has put out the $300 straddle, so actually Matt is now under the gun. And he has ace, 4 of clubs, and he lays it down. Brooklyn Dan in the small blind with Jack Deuce lays it down, and of course, Mike DeMelt.
Raise it.
I could actually almost call you blind. Almost.
Now Thomas, in his straddle position, it costs him 900 to call.
I'll still call.
And this gives Thomas a flush draw. Go ahead. Thomas checks and a king on the turn. Puts Thomas in the lead. Mike checks it.
Check.
Now that's Thomas trapping, Dan, right?
I'm not so sure with a flop like that he would be trapping him.
Lol, if you hit a 4. I call.
No, I was value betting what I thought might be the best hand here. You hit the king, right? That's about
Why
right.
do you think Thomas didn't bet the turn when he hit the king?
It could have been he was a little bit afraid that after the raise, Mike didn't lead out, and he was afraid that Mike hit the hand very big, and that's why he didn't lead out.
I was value betting, man. I'm steaming now. I'm steaming now.
Matt under the gun, and he's putting up his $300 straddle. Everyone's gambling.
$13.
13. 13.
Now Medic raised with pocket deuces. He made it 1,300 to go.
Against serve.
Matt has ace-6 of hearts.
Only because it's serve.
He's going to call the $900 raise.
I fear the serve.
There should be a rule that this table's not allowed to close till rolling till all night. As long as Roland's
And bingo,
here,
there's the straight.
just play all night.
And he's checking.
If Roland go broke, I go broke. I quit.
That 7 on the river pairs the board. And Matt's going to put a little value bet out, 2,000.
This play actually might have got a little bit of money out of him. Medic is seriously considering calling. No.
5,000 in the pot. Medic is showing 1 deuce.
Making the lay down, he's showing the deuce. Wow, what a lay down there.
And Matt takes down the pot.
You're not Medic with a big lay down. You got at least a deuce.
Well, the action continues here on Cash Poker. Cindy Violet is under the gun, and she put up her $300 straddle. Roland's first to act. He is going to muck. It mucks all the way around to Mike the Mouth, and he raises it up.
Mike finally has a legitimate raise.
Call.
And Thomas, he has ace-5 of clubs.
Out of position against Mike.
You check, I bet in the dark.
It's going to be heads up between Thomas and Mike.
I could check in the dark.
And this is a good flop for Mike the Mouth. It gives him an open end straight. He bets, and Thomas lays it right down.
Big hand.
Big hand.
Lots of good players in Mike's situation, when they flop something decent, they like to check in order not to have themselves raised out of a good drawing situation.
Medic is the straddler of this hand. Brooklyn Dan is first to act. Got Jack-6 of spades. He's going to lay it down. Mike Mouth lays down the Jack-4. Thomas, he's got 9-10 offsuit. Looks like he wants to put a little raise in. He's going to make it 1,500 to go. Now Matt, he has ace-4 of spades. He just makes a flat call. He's on the button. And Medic is going to fold his king-deuce, and we're going to be heads up
You got me from wanting to go
between
home
Thomas and
getting
Matt.
ready to go home. I was getting ready to go home because I was playing bad and I was miserable at the table I was at, to playing amongst real poker players and in a good mood, and now I'm not want to go home. Now I don't want to go home.
Now this flop gives Thomas a gut shot
I'm actually a
straight,
good player against people that aren't afraid to put a chip in the pot.
and he's going to fire out a bet, and Matt is going to lay it down, and that's showing why pre-flop aggression can continue, Dan, and take the pot right down with a bet.
Absolutely. And Mike's threat of staying around is holding the other players here also. Chad, my cash poker hold'em highlight hand of the day is Mike Mattisau when he had the 4-5 of diamonds and he straddled for $300, and it was raised by Roland with the king-8 of clubs. Mike made a slightly loose call. The raise was $1,600. Well, the flop came ace of clubs, king of spades, jack of hearts. Mike checked. His opponent checked also. So he told his opponent, I'm betting blind. He bet $1,600 in the dark, and his opponent, not to be outdone, called the $1,600. Turn is the queen of hearts, an awful looking board for both players, and Mike just bet $1,600 out. His opponent took a look at the board, saw how dangerous it was, and all of a sudden his kings didn't look so good, and he just assumed Mike could either have a 10, an ace, or a jack that would beat his pair of kings. He just decided to give up the ghost and throw the hand away.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now let's get right back to the action. Brooklyn Dan is under the gun. He's the only one at the table not straddling. He doesn't want to gamble, Dan. He's saying, look, I'm not going to gamble. I'm playing to win.
I don't blame him. I have the same first name as him. I don't gamble either.
Now, Thomas, on the other hand, is calling with 2-6 offsuit.
This is a little bit out there. It must be towards the end of the session.
Well, Matt makes it 7:50 to go, so maybe Thomas will be able to get away from this. Medic has ace, jack. No, Thomas makes the call. This is not good for Thomas because this gives him a pair of sixes. This might trap him into losing a few chips.
Yeah, this is a very good flop for the aces. The only thing he has to be afraid of is another 10.
And it's checked around, so Matt's slow playing. Now this is a phenomenal card for Matt. He has 3 10s full with his pocket aces, and Thomas may think he has the best hand with the 6. Medic, of course, trying to steal the pot with his ace jack.
Aren't they moving up there?
Thomas just making the flat call.
Which table's moving?
And Matt has a few options here, Dan. And one of them is he's just going to call.
I think that's an excellent play.
Which table's moving?
Deuce of hearts on the river. Now, Medic and Thomas both check. Matt, of course, wants to see what kind of a bet he can make to extract some chips here, Dan.
Yes, he has a tough decision. He doesn't want to bet too much and have everyone throw their hands away.
And unfortunately for Thomas, I can't see him getting away from the 6, especially with the deuce coming on the river. Now he bets 4,000. Medic, of course, quickly mucks. Thomas just even laughing. He's like, look, another pot I'm going to lose.
It's pretty sick. It's either like ace queen or it's a 10. I call.
Oh no, it's 2 aces.
Nice hand, sir.
And
nice
Matt
hand.
made the perfect bet, Danny. He's going to pick up a $15,000 pot. Nicely played by Matt.
And that shows you why you're not supposed to play hands like deuce 6 almost in any position, never mind out of position.
You might be doing it again.
And the Cash Poker player of the day is Mike the Mouth Matusow.
I protect all straddles, by the way. Is that a 6? No.
So you have an underpair.
You told me he was weak. That's why I did that. If you wouldn't have told me he was weak, I wouldn't have played him like that. Finally found a table like a rock. I like this table.
Right there, Mike. Great.
Yeah!
Well, Dan, Binions was once again the stage for great cash poker.
It sure was, Chad. And Binions has a glorious tradition, and it's great to see big-time poker back here again.
Absolutely. Tune in next week for more cash poker where a table full of top pros and hungry amateurs battle it out for each other's bankrolls. I'm Chad Brown, and for Action Dan, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Did you get some good tips? Because it was a fierce night of competition. Thanks for joining us here at Cash Poker, and we'll see you next week. I'm Brandy Williams. Good night. Hey ladies, I've got a question for you. Are you tired of standing on the sidelines watching the guys have all the fun? Do you want your chance to win some big pots on national television? Well, your time has come. This coming February, the Ultimate Poker Challenge is featuring their first ever ladies-only tournament. Just go to ultimatepokerchallenge.com for the details, then meet me here at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel. See you then, girls.